messages. Awesome. Great. Hey, awesome report this last week. Great to see another exciting week of growth. We are on fire. I mean, I think about this is maybe one of the best times that I can ever remember being in the business. When I see people having control over their business, I see a thriving, um, aggressiveness to finding good recruits. I see people putting the extra effort into going out and reaching out and finding people and inviting people to our opportunity. I see an increase in average rep performance. That is exciting. People having good fast starts, people getting good support in their first week, which is so important, especially in those first few days, to get people to experience success and want more of it and have confidence. And it's awesome. And I just can't wait to see all of our branch and our new district managers this summer. I think this is going to be one of those summers where we have an explosive growth in the summertime because of all of our new managers. So anyway, let's jump into today's message. I know that we're going to begin with Brandon Glasser. Brandon has a outstanding culture when it comes to GroupMe and managing people, keeping people involved, especially when we have reps who are in school and reps who are busy. And, and maybe they're only doing demos once or twice during the week, or maybe not even until the weekend. How do you keep that person retained? How do you keep them tied in? How do you keep them excited for what's next? And I think Brandon does a great job of recognizing people and getting people excited and retaining them through using this tool. So super pumped about your message today, Brandon. Thanks for your preparation, and it's exciting to see the great things that you've always done well with this, and I think we could all benefit from it. And we're ready to take notes. Let's go.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Lloyd, and excited to give you guys some goods today. So my message is pretty simple. I don't feel like I don't have a whole lot of complicated things to give you. So I'm going to start with just kind of, first of all, why I feel like GroupMe is so important and why it's so valuable and why it makes such an impact. And then we'll kind of talk about how I feel like I'm able to do that and what activities you can do to create that for yourself. So to get things going, to talk about why GroupMe is so important, GroupMe, in my opinion, is your locker room, right? GroupMe is your dugout, right? Whatever analogy you want to use, this is where your team can talk to each other, cheer each other on, and it's kind of your, private area, right? And so, without GroupMe, right? And I tell my people, like, without the GroupMe, we're just a bunch of people doing things, right? And whether you're running a live office or a virtual one, most likely if we're not in the summertime, we're not seeing our reps every single day. And so the GroupMe is your way to personally connect with every single person on your team, even if you don't have the time and ability to personally reach out to every single person on your team. So GroupMe, when done the right way, GroupMe, a lot of times I'll hear from the reps on my team, is one of their favorite parts of the job. Again, it's where they can cheer each other on and hang out and have fun and goof off and, really talk to each other. A lot of these kids have GroupMes just within themselves and their own friend groups. So when you make the office the hangout place, or the GroupMe the hangout place, just like we used to do in the office and continue to do in the summertime in the office, the GroupMe can take the place of that during the school year. So a GroupMe that's rocking, ladies and gentlemen, it makes reps want to do the job. It makes reps want to work, right? So when your GroupMe's humming and you got a bunch of people posting sales and a bunch of people posting demos and everybody's cheering everybody on, reps feel left out when they don't have anything to post. Right. So when they're not getting cheered on and they don't have anything to put in there and everybody else is, they feel like, man, I'm getting left out. I want to be a part of this. Right. We all know everyone wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. That's why we have to have office goals and region goals and, goals for your reps. So the group me is, really an opportunity to be a part of something bigger than themselves and get that cheering on, which everybody appreciates and wants. But the only way that you can get cheered on, the only way you can have people, talking about you, or the only way you can have something to post is if you go book a demo or make a sale. So when you have a bunch of people doing things, you'll have reps who want to go book demos just because they want to post in the group me, because they want to get cheered on by everybody else. So it creates a culture of, again, wanting to work and wanting to get stuff done instead of feeling like I have to do my job, right? So what is it that's posted, right? What is it that we get our reps to post? So when a rep makes their first sale, the conversation that I have with them is pretty similar to what I'm about to walk you guys through. So congratulations on your first sale. Way to go. Told you could do it. How's it feel? Did you have fun? Right? All the normal closeout stuff. And then I'll explain. So, hey, by the way, I'm about to add you to our office group me. So when somebody makes their first sale is when we officially add them. And I'm about to add you to our office group me. And our group me, Johnny New Rep, this is like our locker room, right? This is our team. This is where we're able to cheer everybody on and recognize and keep up with everybody and what's happening in the office. So the group me, Johnny New Rep, is for three things. Okay, the first of which is for sales. So I'm going to congratulate you on your first sale, and I'm going to welcome you to the team. And then going forward, anytime you make a sale, you'll post it in the group chat. So if you sell a set, you can just post the name of the set. If you sell a certain amount of pieces, right, like a wish list or an item, you can just post what the total was or the pieces. There's not really any wrong way to do it, as long as you're posting what you sold, right? So it doesn't matter how big or small the sales are. If somebody sells a cutting board, they're going to post it, and my team goes crazy over cutting boards, and I make sure of that, and I'll kind of talk about that here in a second. So all sales matter, right? So anytime you make a sale, you're going to post your sale. Number two, the second thing you're going to post is whenever you book a demo, you're going to post it in the group me. So not all the demos you already have booked, right? Johnny New Rep, who's got 10 or 15 demos for the weekend already. I don't need them to go through and post all of those. I already have those. But any demos you add going forward, I'm going to have you put that in the group chat. And this is how we keep up with all of the demos that are being posted, Johnny New Rep. Now, that's not actually how I keep up with demos, but I do explain that this is how I'm going to keep track of them to help add some importance on making sure they post. So you might think, man, that's a lot of posting, right? That's every single time they post, they have to, go into that, and they're also adding it here and adding it there. Absolutely. When you have a phone jam going and you've got 5, 10 reps that are all making phone calls and all posting in the group chat, again, it goes back into that. The rep who's not at the phone jam, they're going to go make phone calls just because they feel like they're being left out, because 20 demos just got booked and they just watched it and everybody's cheering everybody on. And they're like, oh, wow, I should probably make some phone calls too. So even though I didn't PDI them and generate it myself, my group me did. So every single time a demo gets posted or booked, we get them to post that. And then the third one, Johnny New Rep, this is the most important one of all, especially if you want to move up, especially if you want to advance, especially if you want to have conversations about becoming an assistant manager. This is the most important one of all. When you see somebody on the team having success, when you see somebody making a sale, when you see somebody booking a demo, when you see somebody getting work done, I want you to go into the group chat and I want you to cheer them on. The same way that people are going to cheer you on when I add you into the group chat and congratulate you on your first sale. And the same way people are going to make you feel good, I want you to do that same thing for other people on the team, and I want you to make other people feel good too, right? So then I'll add them, congratulate them, and put them in. Now, when a rep is added, like I said, I have that conversation with them, and then I'm going to add them and congratulate them. But here's the other thing that I'm going to do. My staff, as great as I love them and they're amazing, they don't post and group me as much as I want them to. And I'm pretty sure for all of you, no one on your team and no one on your staff posts as much as you want them to either. So after I add somebody into the group chat, usually at this point, I'll have a few AMs who are on it, but then I'll have a few that aren't. And I'm going to go through and personally text all of those assistant managers and say, hey, go cheer on this new person. You may have not noticed it. The group me may have slipped by. You got a lot of notifications on your phone, but hey, so-and-so just made their first sale. Go cheer them on. And so every single time I have somebody make a sale, there's a bunch of people congratulating them and cheering them on, and it's not on accident. So if things are happening in the group me, if somebody books a demo, if somebody makes a sale and I'm in an interview or I'm doing a PR call or I'm doing a PC and I get out of it and I look and there's been nobody posting and cheering that person on, then I'm going to take a second and I'm going to go text all my assistant managers. I have a text thread for them. So I would just use that instead of having to send 7 individual texts. You can choose how you want to do that, but I'll send them a text saying, hey, so-and-so just booked some demos or so-and-so just made some sales. Go cheer them on. And sometimes they're in class, right? And so sometimes they have a valid excuse. I'm not, asking them to step out of class. They all know, hey, if I'm in class, I'll text when I get out, right? But a lot of times they just didn't notice it, didn't see it. Another notification came up on their phone. Several of these people have several group me's. And so, I mean, I'm sure you guys run into this problem. Group me's kind of start to become, numb on your notifications, right? You got so many going off. You're like, yeah, sure, whatever, right? And so a lot of these kids have that too. So following up and specifically asking them and getting them to do it versus just relying on them and asking them to do it, I think is a big reason why we have such a big group me. So to kind of finish off, reps only do, I was always told at least, reps do a third of what they hear and half of what they see. So when you tell a rep to do something, they're only going to do a third of it or less. And I think we can all, agree to that. And reps do half of what they see, which is why when an assistant manager goes to a phone jam or an assistant manager is leading in sales, it makes a bigger impact versus that person just telling that rep what to do. So what that means is that for all the posting that you're asking your team and your assistant managers to be a part of and do, you have to be posting twice as much. So every single time somebody posts anything, you should be following up. It could be the silliest, goofiest, smallest message. It could be, let's go, exclamation point, fire emoji. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a full message every time, but it should be where reps don't notice when you post in group me. It's your job to post in group me. This is what they expect from you. So every single time they post, they expect you to be following right there with them. And when you are doing that, they don't even notice. It doesn't even impact them. You know when they do notice? When you don't post. That's when reps notice. When you're doing it the right way, when 3 or 4 hours goes by because you were in training and you weren't able to get on the group me, that's when reps notice, oh, that was weird. Brandon must have been really busy doing something because he wasn't in the group me. So again, you have to be on this more so than you're asking your reps. Again, this is what you're supposed to do. So reps are more impacted by your assistant managers than by you. Again, this is your job. So when you post, it doesn't really impact them. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. Again, it's a bigger difference when you don't post. But when your assistant manager goes in the group me and follows up and posts, hey, great job, Johnny New Rep, that makes a bigger impact to your representatives than when you do it. Because it's not your assistant manager's job, right? Now it is, right? For a lot of them, we tell them, but to the rep, right? They don't see it that way. It's not their career. They don't do this for a living, right? They're just helping. So for them to go out of their way and cheer them on, that wasn't required in the rep size. And so that means a lot more to them. It impacts them a lot more. So as much as I'm going to be posting all the time and I got to be the main poster and I'm posting more than anybody, again, making sure that I'm texting my assistants and saying, hey, make sure you follow up, make sure you post, make sure you cheer this person on, because again, those make a bigger impact than what I do. And after you text your assistant managers enough times, after enough activities, most of them start to figure it out. And then when you're in training for 4 hours and you're not able to post, all of your assistant managers took care of your group me and it was on fire as if you never left the first time. So don't rely on your assistants to do what you want. Follow up with them, text them, ask them to do it yourself, and then post more times than anybody else. So that's what I got for group me culture. Hope that helps you guys out.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. I mean, obviously, you can see the impact. Anybody have any questions for Elijah? I mean, I'm sorry, for Brandon? All right. Well, listen, I think it's one of those things that, it's kind of like putting oil in your car. You don't really see it. Like it's not one of those big line items in the daily schedule. But when there is no oil in the engine doesn't, it doesn't, it breaks down, right? So this is one of those things I think just kind of enhances everything, whether it's attendance, whether it's retention, whether it's people being more receptive to picking up the phone when you do call them because they feel that connectivity, whatever those things are, I think that it just makes everything a little bit better. So thanks for bringing our awareness to this. It's not a topic we talk about very much, but it's something that you've done such a great job with. So appreciate everything there. That's awesome. Excellent. Well, I believe Demian Scopp is our wrap-up speaker today, and excited about hearing this message. You you probably saw on the newsletter, or in the sales report. I mean, some incredible numbers. I mean, I'm sure he'll highlight these numbers in more specific detail, but he has launched something like 98% of the people who have shown to training. I mean, I think it was something like, 8 out of 9, 17 out of 17, 10 out of 10. Like those are like his last 3 training classes. I mean, just unbelievable. The majority of them making their first sales in the first day or two, some outstanding results. And so, one of the things that's so exciting about it is that, what are we? It's like late February and we're getting these kind of numbers. I mean, it's like summertime. He shipped over $40,000 new business. I mean, these are summertime type numbers. So the message that he has today is it can be summertime whenever you want it to be. And Demian, it's so inspiring. And I just think about redefining what non-summer is. And I can't wait to see what that will look like in the summertime. Those 40K weeks could be $100,000 weeks, right? So anyway, thanks for the great leadership. And I believe that we recorded his training as well last week. So hopefully be something that we'll get into our new virtual leadership binder that we are putting together, and hopefully we'll have for you guys before kickoff conference and after we get back from Spain. So this will probably be something that will be in there. So Damian, great stuff, buddy. I'm turning it over to you. I got my notes ready.
Thank you. And yeah, just incredibly exciting. We just had our first $100,000 new business month. It's going to be right at the cusp. And, to think that, this is February. I hope for some of the individuals that are waiting for the summer, I hope that you're, looking to create this right now, whether you're going to Madrid or not. I mean, I can't wait for another, big month coming in. And I've never been more excited to hand off my office to my staff because they are going to have such great results that, as they're running an office this summer, I mean, they're going to feel like they've already had a summer right beforehand. So I have a variety of different points that I was thinking about as I've been trying to like deconstruct a little bit of what's happened in the last month. And this is going to be a short list of them, but we'll hope that some of this stuff starts to motivate you. So the first thing I want to talk about is my training, because I think that has been the largest engine of success. So for me, one of the things that's really valuable is that everybody in my office is doing great. And one of the ways that happens is that on my Thursday night team meeting, during the phone jam, I walk around with a sign-up sheet and I ask people to have a shift during my training seminar. So I need a shift. My training is on Friday from 11 to 7:30 p.m. and then Saturday from 9 to 4:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday. And so I want to have somebody there from 10 o'clock to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and 6 to 7:30. And then on Saturday, again, try to have one person for every 2 hours, because there's so much value that you can create when you are running training by asking the helper for what is happening currently on their demos in relationship to what you're teaching your representatives should be happening on their demos. And when you have just that echo coming back, being like, yep, that's what happened last week. And yep, so, hey, Jose, so, how many referrals do you got on average? Yeah, I mean, what's the most you've ever gotten? 20? Yes, like I said, our average, we're trying to get to 5 to 10, but, Jose's gotten 20. And so those are the things like I'm running training with the helper the entire time. So again, Thursday, and I get them excited because I asked them like, hey, wouldn't it have been really nice if you were in training and then somebody next to you was basically 1 week old and was just like egging you on and cheering you on and telling that you can do it. And so they sort of get excited to stop by. And it's really easy to get them to want to do it because it makes them feel like they're doing some sort of a manager. And like I said, I don't really have assistant managers very much in that training. They're too busy running their own events. I actually like new representatives to help me with training as a result. So yes, I'm excited that some of you guys are going to get a chance to see my training here in the next week or so as we're getting all the content back to Elijah. I think one of the most important parts of my training seminar is towards the end of the training, when I have the representatives in training call their own friends to get their parents' phone numbers for them to start calling them during demos. Because yes, maybe you have everybody show up to training with 20 or 30 names, or 30 or 40. But for me, I'll be honest, I typically get them to show up to training, I would say with about 10 to 15, maybe 20 names. And while it's really important that they show up with 20 or 30 or 40, the question sometimes I started to ask myself is if somebody doesn't have 20 and that's the number we keep telling them, is that a reason why they're not showing up to training? And that started to make me wonder, well, 10 is great because you know what? I'm going to help them get the rest of them. I'm not saying don't have them show up with a lot. I'm saying don't cut people out of training because they didn't show up with more than 10. So in training, one of the things we do is, yes, we have them create the names list, like Drew Frank has in his videos. I run that all. Just a little side plug. I haven't shown Drew Frank videos, I don't know, in almost a year at this point. I just scripted the training myself and run it myself. And for some of you that are new, that might seem kind of daunting of a practice, but I mean, I don't know, Lloyd, did you have somebody else run your training? I mean, I don't know, DVMs, did you have anybody else run your training? Does your DVM have somebody else run your training? So if that's who you want to be one day, I'm not saying you have to do it today, but let's get you to run your own training one day. That's just a little soapbox moment. I hope none of you took that personally. But anyways, so one of the things I have them do, and this is actually something that we have in my script, I'm going to share my screen here, is I don't know if Elijah or if Lloyd can let me share my screen here in a second. So we actually have a script of how to call your friends to get their parents' numbers. So let's see if I can get this shared. Continue. There we go. All right. So this is actually a script that we have our representatives practice in training, and we do a little competition. There's a video that I show that talks about a fast starter who called a lot of her friends to get her parents' number. And then I role play this with them. And I'm like, all right, guys, well, we are going to do, and I literally will just stare at one person when I say this because you got to be more confident than their fear. I say, Mrs., we're going to do right now exactly what you think we're going to do. And then one person always gets it. And like somebody starts to laugh. And I'm like, because if this was so easy, you would have done this yesterday. Because guys, this is not easy. This is terrifying for them to do. Oh, and also they never call their friends. They just text their friends. And you know what happens when they text their friend to get their mom's number? They text 4 people and get 1 number maybe. But in the matter of 15 minutes, I will generate an average of 5 people, parents' numbers for each person. And then there's always that one person that gets 10 or 11. And what I love about doing this before their phone jam is it gives them a phone jam before the phone jam. This is for me like a confidence building activity where they get to feel the adrenaline of making phone calls when it doesn't matter. Because if they get rejected on these, they don't think it's that big of a deal because these aren't the Cutco appointments. But when they get a success reading the script, they're like, okay, scripts work. Because it's actually easier to get these than it is to schedule a Cutco appointment. Because they're talking to a friend, not somebody, and not the mom. I don't know, I think both of them are pretty easy, but When they all of a sudden read the script to a friend and get the mom's number, they get confident. They believe in the script, and now they have more names to call. So now they can't tell me that you don't have any names. I'm like, hey, didn't you just get 7 names? Cool. Well, those can be 7 more people that you can call today. So I think that practice is a huge confidence builder. Again, we do that right at the end of training. If the phone jam for training is from 6:30 to 7:30, this probably happens right around like 5:30 or so. So I role play it with one person, and then I give them 15 minutes on the board. I've got music. I'm like putting dollar signs every time somebody gets one. And then I do a $5 Starbucks gift card. If you haven't downloaded the Starbucks app and just throw away Starbucks gift cards, I don't know. That's my #1 expense, I think, that I have for my training seminars is every week I do like a Starbucks $5 gift card for like 5 different things. Hey, it's a tax write-off, so that's valuable. So anyways, I'm putting dollar signs. I'm like, hey, who got 4? Who got 5? Dude, she's at 6 year letter, beat you. She's calling her friends. You don't have, just call the next person. And I teach them to double tap. And it's a fun 15 minutes that gets them a little bit of energy. We don't really take breaks in training because we're just doing fun activities throughout the whole entire process. So this is something that I thought something that I wanted to kind of share with you guys that I think is important. And I think in the portal, that Shelby put together, there's a talk that I give that explains to them why it's so valuable to start with people that they know. So that way they never really ask me the question, why do I start with people that they know? So if you haven't watched that, I think it's a 5 or 6 minute video that talks about that, and you can watch it yourself. So that's one thing that I'll do. Hopefully you took a picture of that, or if not, I can send a copy of that. So again, the phone jam, do about 45 minutes. Sometimes it's only a half an hour, but it doesn't even matter how much phoning they do in the office, because a lot of the phoning that they're going to do is going to be after they leave training. And one of the things I do to fortify that is I've started to do a day 1 holdback. I know this is some revolutionary stuff. So I'll ask about 40 to 50% of the room to stay back. This has now become, I think, my favorite part of training, because I've never seen people feel so excited and look so sort of like, complimented as when I tell them that, they're the 20 of the 80-20 rule. The holdback script, I think I got it from somebody, but basically I say, every business has an 80-20 rule. 80% of the results typically come from 20% of the business. And I'm a talent scout. My job is to figure out who my leaders are going to be. And so I feel that that's who you're going to be. So I have first of all, I wanted to say thank you. Hey, what was your favorite part of training? Awesome. What was something that you thought was really interesting that you learned? Okay, so remember how I gave the assignments earlier? #1 assignment, how earlier we went through Facebook and we went through, other people's moms. Oh, this is another thing that we do when we're doing the names list, is I actually give them 5 minutes. We go on Facebook. I show them Facebook on the TV, and I'm like, let me show you how to find moms' names. And so we just literally go, I just go to a couple of the moms that I know on Facebook. I click on their friends list, and I show them how easy it is to recognize the moms, because they all have their kids. So anyways, we took about 5 minutes to do that. They wrote down like 10 or 15 names from their mom's Facebook friends list. And so I'm like, hey guys, remember when I said the assignment is I want you to talk to your mom and get some of those phone numbers? The other people, they may or may not do it, but as leaders, what am I expecting you guys to do? To do it. So can anybody here not call their mom today because of some other reason? One person's like, oh, my mom's out of town. Be like, hey, don't sweat it. Can you call grandma? Can you call dad? Okay, but everybody else, you can call your mom tonight. Okay, I appreciate that. When you call them, just let them know their friends don't have to buy anything, and don't ask them for names. Just read off the names we already came up with one by one. And you guys will be the ones that tomorrow morning, when I ask, hey, who came up with more names? You guys will be the ones that will raise your hand, meaning you're going to continue to be the leaders that you've already been today. And they're like, got it. The other thing I'm going to ask you guys to do, I know I gave out the assignment that I want you guys to make more phone calls. I didn't really give an assignment of how many, but I was curious, how many more phone calls do you guys think you could make? And I'll start kind of like looking to see until the first one answers like, I can make 5 more. Be like, hey, can you guys all make at least 5 more? Like whatever somebody says, we'll start with that. And somebody's like, I can make 1 more. Be like, hey, can you guys all make 1 more? Anybody can do 3? Can anybody do 5? Who can do 10? And sometimes they'll come back to day 2 with twice as many demos. I ask all of them to send the entire training group. I asked them to send me what's called the CAB, C-A-B. So that's the number of calls you made after training, the number of people that answered you after training, and the number of people that you booked after training. So I said, hey, before you leave, set an alarm in your phone that says you're going to send me a text message at 9:30 p.m. with your CAB. And literally at around 9 p.m. or so, I'll start texting somebody, be like, hey, I know you're not supposed to send me the text until 9:30, but I'm just wanting to recognize that blank from the training group already booked 3 appointments. So if you haven't made any more phone calls, see if you can make 1 or 2 before 9:30 before you text me. And so I'm sort of starting to egg them on a little via text message, somewhere around 8:45, 9 o'clock, because it's a Friday night and they're calling their family. They can call them all the way till 9:30 p.m. So that after training, I'm not having anybody call me. I'm just doing a little bit of texting back and forth while I'm chilling at home, and just wishing them good luck. And maybe that's been part of the reason why nobody is dropping out, because they're hearing like, wow, everybody's doing well, and there's just sort of that energy behind it. I want to talk about my day 2 PC. I feel like this has been one of the most powerful parts of training as well. So what I do is I have the people that had the day 1 holdback come in 30 minutes earlier, because if I've got 17 people I need to PC, it's going to take me almost an hour, hour and a half. And so it's really important I do that. My training goes from 9 to 4:30, but I don't really start training till about 10:15. So during those first, that first hour, they're role playing the demo back and forth. They've probably been able to role play the demo for that hour at least twice all the way through. I have them basically do like, hey, you do page 2, you do page 3, back and forth until they get to a homemaker, and they go back and forth. So yeah, in the first hour, they role play the demo at least twice each, which was really powerful. And so that's why I have one of my helpers that are there during that time. So that way they can sort of proctor the room. And obviously I've prepped them. Hey, I just want to make sure you remind them to continue to role play. And if they ask you any questions, tell them that, I just started a week ago, so I don't really know, but hey, let's get back to role playing, because that's what Demian wants you to do. And while they're doing that, I have them in the other office and I'm meeting with them one-on-one. So the first thing I do during my PC is I'll compliment them from something from yesterday. Hey, I want to recognize you for your hard work, your good attitude, and for being really coachable. I'll pick one of those 3 for some reason. And then I tell them, hey, just, you're not supposed to be a cutlery expert by the time you're done with training today. You're also not supposed to be a cutlery demonstration expert. But here's the good news. All of those gaps that you're not 100% sure, that can only be filled by the live appointments and by the virtual demos that you're going to do. Just like you couldn't read a book about how to play basketball, you actually have to go out and do it. And so that kind of gives them some confidence, because I think some people get a little bit nervous feeling like I'm not perfect. And I tell them, like, you're not supposed to actually be, because here's the good news. Your customers actually know a lot about kitchen knives. You might not know what a paring knife is, but they know what a paring knife is. They've been cooking for 20 years. So your job is not to actually sell Cutco. You're just trying to be excited. So if you've gotten your friends excited about a band, going to a party, just do the same thing and just read the script. Again, you're not supposed to be a kitchen cutlery expert. You're not supposed to be a sales expert. Just get excited and smile. The next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and make sure that you can make advanced training. So at that point, I open up their calendar. I open up, Web PDI, and I'm like, okay, are you good for advanced training Monday from 4:30 to 7:30? Yes. How about the team meeting Thursday from 6 to 8? No, I've got class. What time is class till? It's till 5:30. Can you just teleport your way out, after here? You can be here by like 5:45. You can be here till by 6:15. Perfect. I'd rather have somebody be an hour late to the 2-hour team meeting than not come at all. Dude, half of the team meeting is a little bit of fluff anyways. So I just want them to be a part of the team. As long as they're there during the phone jam, that's really helpful. Finally, and I think this is most powerfully, is going through their appointments. So I'm like, all right, so Susie, have you ever heard of something called the law of attraction? And they're like, I think so. Basically, whatever you focus on, that's what's going to grow. If you're having a really good vibe right now and you're in this semester, you're going to notice you're going to attract a lot of people that are having a good vibe right now. And they're like, oh yeah. Well, your customers can kind of sense that too. So let's talk about your first appointment. Who's that with? Aunt Susie. Okay, cool. She a homeowner? Good. She married? Perfect. Does she like to cook? Okay, cool. So let's say at the end of the demo, she loves to cook. She loves you, right? She wants to support you. You think she could spend $100 today? She's like, yeah, I think so. How about $200? Maybe. How about 300? Oh, I don't know about 300. Okay, let's say $200. Perfect. Now, if you were going to buy a car, a house, if you were getting a cell phone plan, you wouldn't pay for it in full, right? You do it monthly, right? If you went to a car dealership today and said, I can afford $200, they're like, great, you've got 60 months. So that means you can get a $12,000 car. Well, if somebody can get $200 of Cutco today, we give them 5 months. So that means they can get $1,000 of Cutco. So that would be like a galley plus 6. So in my mind, I'm going to write down, here's the thing, man. If I was doing a Cutco demo, she doesn't even like me as much as she likes you. But if somebody whispered in my ear, this person in front of me can spend $200, I'd be like, cool, I'm going to sell them $1,000 of Cutco. So that person can spend 200, but can get $1,000 of Cutco. And whatever number they give me, 100, 200, 300, 400, I just multiply it by 5. I use that same kind of verbiage, and I help them understand why they actually can sell homemakers, because a lot of them don't think people will spend 100 or 200 and $300. They don't get it. And so this is just a really easy way for them to understand, got it. That's how people buy homemakers, because all they do is spend $300 today. So I'll go through their first 3 or 4 appointments. If anybody on their appointment list looks like a man's name, I'll ask him, oh, is the spouse going to be there? But as long as I've gotten the first 3 or 4, I feel pretty good about that. And then lastly, I'll say, hey, one last thing, and this is especially for the people that were the day 1 holdbacks. Hey, during this next part of training, we're going to be actually talking about the 3 main contests. One of them is going to be this fast start contest. You excited about winning some free stuff? Cool. The other thing we're going to be talking about is building the team. Man, I really want to build the team around somebody like you. I hope that's not too forward, but you're just a positive person. So when we go through the team builder section, can I ask you to be a little bit of a leader during that part? And you're going to see what I mean when I talk about that. And then whoever is the sharpest person in the training group, I'm going to add one more thing. I'm like, hey, I want to actually show you guys how this team builder part works. So what I'm going to do is it okay if I just grab your phone during training and I show you how to actually get the maximum amount? And so during the team builder, I'll literally grab their phone and boom, I'm going to submit all of them and I'm going to give them their phone back so they can star the top people. That way, everybody submits everybody. So that's my day 2 PC. After that, I don't know, I think day 2 after you've done PRs is pretty much the easiest day of training. They've already launched. All you got to do is make sure that they know how to role play the dropping down. One thing I will mention about the dropping down section that I've started to do is I've been starting to micromanage a little bit more of the Cutco appointments. And I've started to notice that it was a little bit too daunting for every person to call me on every demo, or, I have them call me after each one, but I was like, what is that phone call really getting me if I'm not on the actual demo? So what I started to do is I started to give the analogy of math class. I'm like, hey guys, if you're in math class and you get the right answer, but you don't show your work, what does the teacher do? And they're like, not give you a grade. I'm like, exactly. So that's why after every demo, I'm just going to ask you to send me a picture of your work. And so in training, I actually show them, how to drop down and how to write everything in paper. So after every demo, especially after no sales, they'll send me a screenshot of the paper where they wrote down special number 1, full price, 5 pay, special 2, blah, 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 right? I have never seen such atrocities. Oh my God. I thought I was a good trainer. I obviously suck at running training, but I am good at catching these little mini appointments afterwards. And so what's been happening is that after every demo, they're sending me their work. And if they sound great, if it looks great, what I'll do is I'll post that on the GroupMe. So shout out to Brandon about the GroupMe culture. And I'm like, hey guys, I just wanted to show you what it looks like to have a perfect appointment. That person made a no sale, but I'm bragging about them on GroupMe that they did the work properly, guys, because if they do the work properly enough times, they're going to eventually do the job right. They're going to eventually make sales. And so I have them do that. And so if they make no sales, all of a sudden they feel great. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I post this on the GroupMe? This is like artwork. This is like chef's kiss. This is fantastic. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. I thought I sucked. Apparently I'm great at this job. And so the ones that don't do it right, I'm like, hey, I noticed that you are missing a couple of things. Can you open up page 14 real quick? And I will just have them role play the special number 1, 2, and 3, write down all the things, and then send me a picture of it. And once they do, be like, that's perfect. Oh my God, I'm so glad we caught this right now versus 7 appointments from now. So on the next appointment, I can't wait to high five you. By the way, I hope this doesn't happen, but even if you make a no sale, I'm going to be able to see this perfect work. The worst case scenario that'll happen is you won't be able to show it to me because you sold the set. But every time we do this, we're going to get you better and better and better, because a lot of the work is based on what you write down and show the customer visually. And obviously, if they're on a virtual demo, they're just putting the prices into the Zoom chat box. But I don't believe they're doing it unless I can see it on paper. So every demo they do, I'm just getting all these text messages. That's okay. I mean, most of them are going to be good, but every once in a while, you're going to see some Picassos with some weird noses and stuff like that. After their demos on Saturday, I actually have a one-on-one Zoom meeting with all of my launches on Sunday. So my Sundays, typically between 8 o'clock to about noon, are pretty stacked. with these little 15-minute meetings. And I have them sign up for them. You can use Calendly if that works for you before they leave training. And again, I typically don't do this, but it's February, and that's my biggest month of the year. So I'm going to work when, what do they say? Make hay while the sun shines. So, I mean, I don't know about the summer. I don't know how much you guys sell over that, but February, that's the hot time of the year. So during February, I'm going to work my ass off. Plus, I'm leaving for Spain in a couple of days. So I might as well, feel like I'm earning my vacation, right? So on Sundays, like I said, from about 8 a.m. to about noon, I have these little micro meetings. And let me tell you what I do. So the first thing that I do is I uncover their about me statement. So I'm going to say, all right, so Johnny, tell me a little bit about why you're working here. And during that time, I'm going to take some notes. Hey, what was high school like for you? What were some of the challenges that you had? And I go ahead and take some notes. What do you want to do in the future? What's your career choice? And I go ahead and take some notes. Now, why do you think working at Cutco is going to help you benefit your future? And then I'm going to take some notes. And then I send them an email with those notes. I'm like, hey, can you give me about 60 seconds? I'm going to add some filler words here, and I'm going to send you a gift. And they're like, what's that? And I literally send them a little paragraph that's their about me statement. And at the end of the paragraph, I'll add something like, and that's why I'm working at Cutco. And that's why I'm going to ask you for a lot of referrals, Mrs. Jones, at the end of this appointment, because it really helps me follow my dreams, build these skills, and it really means the world to me. And again, I send them the email. That whole process takes about 10 minutes of about the 20-minute PC that we have. And I'm telling you, from new manager to DVM, if you've never seen the face of a representative who has just seen their personal mission in life be written out loud and sent to them, guys, I've been with this company 25 years, and there's still not more of a rewarding moment than when somebody says, oh my God, thank you so much. I've never been able to really fully articulate that. And I'm so excited to share that with people. And I'm like, yeah, just do that on your appointments. And that literally just jumpstarts their Sunday. And every of these appointments, I am not tired. I'm like bragging to my wife, like, oh my God, that person on my last one, she was crying. That was so amazing. Like this one guy just felt seen. And again, it's 10 minutes. I'm just literally typing out a couple of answers to these questions. And it really changes their life, in my opinion. And at that point, their demos that they were maybe planning on canceling or bailing or quitting on, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go do this on my demos because that seems really valuable. And plus, wow, this manager spent all that time to create that for me. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. The other thing that I talk about, and another shout out to Brendan for this, is guys, one of the things that we do in our office is we like to run out loud. And so basically, anytime you book a demo, anytime you have a cancellation and practice your script, anytime that you make a sale, can I ask you to post it on the group me? And by the way, they don't always do it, but the ones that kind of like that rough recognition, the Sunday group me becomes really hot. And it's kind of funny. Every once in a while, I'll get a text message from a rep from like the last launch or before being like, hey, Demian, I apologize for not working that hard right now. I promise I'll get back into it. And I think it's because of that group me culture. So Brendan, I think you're really on point with that one too. The next thing that we do during that meeting, I only have about 10 minutes left of that PC, is I'll confirm advanced training again. I'll confirm the team meeting again. I'm going to confirm that every single 5 minutes that I possibly can. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll open up their PR list, because they submitted almost all their names, and I had them star all of the people that live in my area. So I know those are the ones that I'm going to do the personal conveyor on. And then the ones that, and I'm like, hey, by the way, we have a bunch of other offices. I love this company. Can we go through your list one more time? Let's go ahead and let me know who are just the other college kids. And then what I do with those other college students that are not in my territory is I send them to the automatic conveyor, so that way they get plugged in. And shout out to the Lubbock office. I think I've made almost $1,000 because of one girl that's launched from Lubbock who, I don't know, I think she sold, like, Ava, for those of you that know Ava, she sold like 40 grand already because I literally just sent her to Lubbock. It's the right thing to do, right? She can go to an office. Isn't that the right moment? So anyways, AT1, AT1 is actually kind of taken care of. I don't know. I don't think it's that hard of a thing. It's mostly just making phone calls. The big thing about AT1 is we have every single person make a Google Calendar. So I'm like, all right, everybody, go ahead and open up your computer. Let's go to Gmail. And at that point, guys, I'm going to teach you how to get organized. I'm going to teach you how to get on Dean's List. Even if this doesn't help you sell a dime of Cutco, you're going to become the world's greatest student. And wouldn't your mom be proud of the job that you have helping you get better grades? And they're like, heck yeah. Be like, all right, guys. So, hey, Susie, I'm going to use you as an example. And what I have them do, and I can kind of show this to you guys here, is I have them actually share their screen with me. Share their calendar with me. If you don't know how to do this, here's the process. So basically, I have them open up their Google Calendar, and I'm walking around the rooms because they don't know how to do this. And I'm like, okay, cool. So go ahead and click on these three little dots. Click on setting and sharing. Okay, awesome. You're going to scroll down. You're going to add people in groups. I have them put their my email address there. Click change the permissions to make changes to event, and then click send. And then what happens at that point is that the representatives now send me their Google Calendar. And during advanced training, we go ahead and have them do. So now I have access to all their Google Calendars. You want to know how to not piss off a college student? Don't call them when they're in class. And unless you're expecting to know that by like, I don't know, I just think this is so much easier to see my customers. Yeah, my customers, my representative schedules. So what I do at advanced training is I have them, first of all, put in their school schedule. Now, since they don't know how to do it, I'm going to show them how to do it first. So I have this like fake calendar that I make, and I'm like, all right, guys, let me show you how to do this. All right, so Monday, what time's your class? Okay, 10 to 11 o'clock. All right, perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and click custom. So you got that class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Perfect. Done. Save. All right, now can everybody go ahead and do that real quick? Do it for your first class. So the first 40 minutes of advanced training is making the calendar, because I think once I have this, I can manage my person properly, right? Okay. And then I have them learn how to send a Google Calendar invite to all of their appointments. So how do they do that? Easy. So this is like Cutco scholarship demo with Jenna and Mrs. Jones. Oops. Then I go to more options. I have the representative put their Zoom link there and send the customer and their email, and I click save and send. And I'm like, great, guys, I want you guys to do this for your next 5 appointments that you have, at least the next 3 days. And so they send all of their calendar invites for all of their Cutco appointments. You want to know how to get a customer to not reschedule appointments as much? Have your representatives look like a professional. And that's what professionals do. They send each other Google Calendar invites. I wouldn't be on this meeting if I didn't have a Google Calendar invite from Elijah. I would have forgotten about it. You think your customers are not forgetting about your representatives' appointments? It helps if their reps do the demos, right? And then I'm like, great, let's put the team meeting. And next, let's go ahead and put $signs, just like in your schedule that you do in training. And then at the top of each day, okay, I'll have them go ahead and put their daily demo goals. Yes, I understand that we have this in Web PDI, but your representatives can't look at Web PDI. And they don't really look at their vector impact that very much, but they definitely look at their Google Calendar. I do have them download the Google Calendar app. And so now I know when their appointments are. By the way, this girl launched 3 days ago. Doesn't this look like a schedule of a professional? If she shows this to her mom, don't you think her mom would be proud of her? If she looks at this, do you think she wants to quit being this person? I feel like this calendar creates a tremendous amount of retention as well. And yeah, we have them put their $signs, right? I had my PC with Jenna. I don't remember when I had it, but I talked to her this morning on PDI. But anyways, we just kind of kept on adding this to this. And at first she didn't have it. This is what she was doing. But now she's like feeling like a pro, right? And I think that's really valuable for them. That's advanced training. They make their schedule. I teach them the secret weapon. And then we get on the phone. Oh, and the final thing I do at advanced training is I explain to them how PDI works. I'm like, hey guys, as you guys know, most jobs ask you to show up. All we ask of you is 60 to 90 seconds every morning between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. So what you're going to notice is that my staff is going to call you at some point, and we have the 3 strikes you're out rule. Number one, this call is designed to help you, stick to your goals and give you accountability, but it's also designed to let me know that you're wanting to improve on the job. So you forget 1 time, I'm not going to take it personally. You forget 2 times, 2 strikes, you're out. You forget 3 times to call us back, well, then at that point, you're going to be a very proud, independent Cutco sales representative. I don't take people off base pay. They take themselves off base pay, right? Because think about it, guys. If you're not doing well in your sales and you're not willing to call us back and get coaching, are you really showing the company that you want to get better at this job? No, then that's why we pay base pay, because we know that you're trying to improve if you're not doing well. By the way, my top representatives, they call in the most. And once you've hit $10,000 of sales, you're a pro. And if you don't want to call in anymore, we're not going to stop you. But most of my representatives call because when you see a personal trainer, you get into better shape. PDI for me is every single morning at the office between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. I stole this from Gerardo because he won more silver cups than I did. So I'm like, he shows up to the office in a suit every morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, I guess I'll do the same. I'm going to start having to wake up at 5:45 like Nick Smith does. Not going to ride the bike, but I'll get to my office. And so every morning I'm at the office. My assistant managers are at home, and that's okay. But now I'm starting to have more reps coming in, and every morning from 8 to 10, we're on Zoom on PDI. What I'll do is we split apart the team. They watch me do one PDI call, and then I'm like, all right, guys, let me show you the PDI assignments for today. CEED. You guys heard of CEED, seed, right? It's connect, encourage, events, and demos. I don't know who I stole that from, but thank you for whoever said that at some point. So yeah, so what we do is we go through the calendar. And so let me, I have this on my Google Calendars because I'm not going to remember this stuff every morning, and I don't want to cut corners. So typically I'll get to my office around 7:45, and here's my staff calendar, right? So every day there's a PDI message. Okay, so let's look at PDI message for today. So I wrote this down. It takes you like 15 minutes. You know what you're talking about. Like every week it's kind of the same, right? So, hey, let's get to know each other a little bit better. Hey, what's your motivation at Cutco? Hey, I got to ask. Let's go through your appointment goals for the next 2 days. By the way, let's go through the team meeting promotion. We're going to be talking about selling accessories and getting ready for spring break. Do you need a ride? Do you have a car? Okay, team meeting's going to rock. By the way, if they're in there fast out, I kind of let them know how far they are from the next promotion. Hey, it's Wednesday. Did you fill out your base pay form? Did you send out your reminders? Cool. Who are you meeting with today? Go over a couple of the appointments, who you're going to sell to. And hey, it's about activity or accomplishment. So what's your phoning plan? So I have one of those for every morning. And so that way, when my assistant managers are doing their PDI, they know exactly what to say. Each day is different. And if you don't know what to say on PDI, feel free to hop on PDI with me in the mornings and you can listen to me do it, or you can ask your DVM on what to say in the mornings. But it's mostly CEED, connect, encourage, events, and then lastly is your demos. And yes, I actually did get a high school on campus today at Lehman High School, so I'm excited for those two coming up. And so this is kind of my calendar, right? So we've got my interviews in there. I know when my rec shifts are. Here's my, I got my receptionist calendar. I've got my rep calendar. I actually send this to my reps so they know when my workshops are. They know when the team meetings are. So when they do their advanced training, I have this thing that I made for them. And here's what's kind of cool. If you go to settings and sharings on this, and you go to get shareable link, you can send this calendar to them. And then they can add it to their Google Calendar so they know when the workshops are. By the way, they still are not going to go until you invite them and make sure they're coming to those. So that's really valuable. I guess the last thing that I'll talk about is just your own personal development. Your sales are never going to exceed the amount of planning you can do or the level of personal development that you're doing in your life. Right now, every morning I've just committed until the summer, I figured that's going to be enough time, is that on my 20-minute drive to the office, I listen to a podcast. And then in the drive home, I can listen to music. But that's sort of my reward at night. And I can tell you, I'm much more excited to listen to music when I know it's my reward. I wake up, I work out, I think almost 5 times a week, which I know it's not that much in comparison to the South Texas guys. But for me, that's kind of a lot. I've been listening to some podcasts, and there was one that came out about with John Gordon, a couple of the Changing Lives ones that really kind of changed up my game. And the final thing I'll talk about is just when your representatives start to feel like this isn't for me. You guys ever had a rep say that before? This isn't for me. And so I've had a lot of reps quit in the past as a result because they're like, oh, sales are not for me, or this isn't for me. And here's the conversation that I've started to use. I'm like, hey, I totally understand. Do you mind if I ask, like, what's the feeling that you're interpreting as this isn't for me? And they're like, well, I just feel I feel uncomfortable. Like, they just give me this. And I'm like, no. That's what your brain is interpreting. My question is, what are you feeling that makes you say that? Takes them a second. They're like, I don't know. I just kind of get this like anxiety. I'm okay, cool. No, that's what you're interpreting. But what is the feeling? And they're like, well, my heart starts to kind of like this, and I get a little tightness. I'm like, got it. Well, it sounds like maybe you're just interpreting your body incorrectly. Is it possible that maybe that heart palpitation, that thing, what if it's just excitement? You ever been excited before? Gosh, I know when I take my dog for a drive, he's always like panting a lot and freaking out. And I don't know, I'm not saying that like he's smarter than I am, but I don't know. What if instead of interpreting it as I'm nervous or scared or this is wrong, what if you're interpreting it wrong? What if maybe that you're just excited about something, you're exhilarated about it? I don't know. Maybe it's possible that maybe somebody in your life, in your past, has told you that sales is not right, or maybe they talked about the fact that spending money isn't a good thing, or and then maybe you learned that as a young child, and gosh, I don't know, maybe that's why it's giving you this anticipation. You know, gosh, when I'm about to fly, I remember when I was young, there was a lot of turbulence on a flight. So every time I go to fly, I get that feeling, boom, 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 boom. And then now every time even I get on an airplane, I have to like, boom, boom, boom. It gets excited. It gets kind of nerve-wracking. So what I've learned is you can't just listen to your head, because that's the things that other people have told you. You got to learn how to talk to yourself. So now when I get on an airplane, I just tell myself, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited about the journey. I'm excited about where I'm going. So I have a challenge for you. Would you be willing to try out this job for one more week? And every time you start feeling that, just tell yourself you're excited about your goals. Why are you working here? You want to be a psychologist? Tell yourself you're excited about being a therapist. Tell yourself you're excited about getting communication skills. And what if one week that feeling could now be changed forever, and you could interpret it as you're excited about your future? And I think I've had 2 or 3 people this last week that were going to quit, that didn't quit as a result of it. And man, I think they're kind of getting that, you know what, it's just an interpretation that you're wrongly interpreting about a physiological experience that is a result of something you've been triggered by. And so this is just like a personal development. Like I said, I got this off some podcasts that I've been listening to. So, plug to the Changing Lives Selling Knives podcast. Again, personal development will never do you wrong. It's the best money that you can spend on yourself. And, I highly recommend that you go after some goals this March. That's it.
Oh, is that it, Damian? That's it? Wow, that was like one of the most exciting, stimulating, fresh demo tip, just pure, not even gold, as diamonds, man. That was so good. I mean, it just speaks to the psyche of where our people are, what they need. I can see why you're launching 100%. I could see why you're getting nearly 100% selling. I could see why people are feeling good about giving this job a real shot. And what you've done is you're setting them up emotionally and systematically for success. And it takes both, and that is just so, so powerful. And I'm so excited about your people and what they're going to do this summer as well, learning this from you now. And everybody on this call has now been gifted the gift of some really great stuff to use. So thank you, Damian, for sharing. I mean, you've got one of the best reports this week. You're super busy, yet here you are giving their time here, and thanks for sharing, man. That was unbelievable. Any quick questions? I know we're at the time, but any quick questions for Damian?
Oh, that's from Paige. Okay, I wondered who Gerardo had stole that from.
Hey,
who I heard
man.
it.
Well, I
So-
love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you again. Thank you to Brandon. Thank you, Damian. Thank you, Elijah. As always, awesome stuff. Can't wait to see you on the other side of the pond. And let's get there with a big, fat, awesome sales report already in the bank. So, we can have a paid vacation while we're gone. And anyway, it's awesome job, guys. Love it. Have a good one. See ya.